Hi, and welcome to our first session in our Wiser With series. During this whole series, we're going to be looking at 4 things that have kind of slipped past our attention in this generation. Things that shape us on the inside and on the outside, that we used to be really careful with. But now, the average person just goes, I don't really know what I'm doing with those. Today's first session is Wiser with our minutes, and we're looking at how do we account for our time. But the second session will be on Wiser with our money and how we're spending our money in a day and age where electronic payments and automatic payments are the norm. We're also looking at 2 external effects that shape us, and we're looking at Wiser with our media. And we know media is the number 1 influencer today for our culture. And then the number 2 actually influencer is our friends. And so we're looking at Wiser with our mentors. Now, as we begin this series, I just want to say a little bit about our pursuit of wisdom. In Proverbs 1 verse 7, it says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and that fools despise wisdom and insight. You need to know that during this whole series, we're not going to just be talking about common sense things, even though we'll be quite practical. We're going to be trying to order everything towards the fear of the Lord. This means that we're going to have the right posture between us and an almighty God who created the universe and everything in it. We believe that the highest heights of wisdom is reached when you figure out God's way, or what God would want. And that's why it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and of wisdom. Today we're going to go straight into Wiser with our minutes. The first thing you need to understand is that time is the great equalizer. If you look around the room, each of you might have different amounts of money, different measures of gifting, different amounts of good looks, I don't know, lots of different things. But almost all of you had the same number of hours yesterday. We all have, unless you were born yesterday, I don't know, but we all have the same amount of hours in a day, days in a week. You may not know how long you're going to live for, but certainly for the days that we have, each of us have 24. You also need to know that your schedule, or the things that you do with your time, they become you. So that if you sow something with time, over the course of that time, you actually change as a result of the things that you've sown. A good example for me are learning courses or time spent studying. Some of you may know I'm a bit of a sort of a bookworm and a bit of a study geek. But I remember when I sat down a few years ago to learn Greek and Hebrew. I was really bad at languages. Very, very bad. I did terrible at French in school. And so I actually thought I could not pick up Greek and Hebrew. But lo and behold, there is a principle at work that if you were to just commit time to memorizing vocabulary, memorizing letters and words and grammar, eventually, over that time, you actually can pick up a language. We also know that if you invest time, say, in dating, and then you spend time with for me, if you spend time with a woman, like I know with Man and me, we spend a lot of time talking and dating, and after a time, we reaped getting to know each other. How we spend our time is so crucial to determining who we are going to become. Let's look at the passage today, Ephesians 5, verse 15 to 17. It says this, "Look carefully then how you walk." Now that word walk could be translated as look carefully then how you live your life or go about your day. "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, Do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. I don't know if you're like me. Sometimes, because we're not keeping a close watch on our time, we'll start a game, I don't know, Candy Crush, or we'll play something, and then we'll look up, and suddenly, where did all that time go? I had a chat with one friend of mine, and he was saying how busy he is, and he never has time for anything. He can't, cannot fit time to even catch up with me as a friend, and we got to chatting, and then a little bit later on in that conversation, he casually mentioned that last week he finished the entire season of Breaking Bad. The entire season in 1 week. And then he's starting another season of a TV series. How do you do that? Well, as I was chatting to him, he started watching one episode, and then he started the next episode, followed by the next episode. I remember that kind of feeling. I remember when Man and I, we first started watching the TV show 24. And we had the box set. I think Roger gave me the box set. And we started watching episode 1. And when it finished, we were like, okay, just one more. Okay, one more. And then we kept going until that first night, it was like 4 a.m. And we were wondering, where did the time go? If we're not careful with how we spend our time, then the things we spend our time on, they will end up shaping us. Today, we want to ask the question, what would my schedule be like if God was in charge of it? If God was in charge of how you would spend your time, what would you do differently? We're going to take time to do a time audit. We're going to look at some of our time invaders and things that rob time away from us. But more importantly, we're going to be taking some time to prioritize the things that are important. Not just in your life, the things that are important to God. So I hope that you would have a robust discussion in your home group today as we look at this matter of being wiser with our minutes. God bless.